Let me just break it down. Nobody is scarier than a black person in a white person's imagination. Yeah. Yep, I said it. And it's illustrated all the time. But let's talk about the latest example of Hannah Berner interviewing Megan Thee Stallion at the Oscars, right? And she is telling Megan Thee Stallion that her music makes her want to fight. And listen, there's a couple things here. Megan Thee Stallion, first of all, is a survivor of domestic violence, so I'm pretty sure that she's very sensitive to accusations about violence. But two, and more significantly, she doesn't make music about fighting at all. That is not what her music is about. I can tell you, as a woman up there in years, who listens to Megan Thee Stallion's music, but does not have Megan Thee Stallion knees, that her music empowers us. It makes us feel strong. It makes us feel sexy. Yes, it makes us feel capable of anything. And so, yeah, I still need at this age a hype woman, and that is who Megan Thee Stallion is. She is not a person who talks violence. But because of who black people are in some white people's imaginations, it's understandable how these types of things happen, right? Black people are burdened with people's biases about us and misconceptions of us. And so instead of just being allowed to walk in the world and live our lives, Megan Thee Stallion, as successful and known as she is, she realizes that although this woman has listened to her songs, according to her, countless times, never really heard them. Because that's the power of biases. They make you where you are blind, where you are unsighted, and you cannot hear because your biases are bigger than anything else. And so here, Megan Thee Stallion is left with having to manage her own interview, dodge these biases and microaggressions / macroaggressions headed her way. So she can't just talk intelligently about something. She has to be not on the offense, she has to be on the defense. And she tries to, one, correct her and tell her what her music is about. And two, tell her you really shouldn't be worried about, don't focus on violence. But it's sad that we have to have that burden. And I believe it costs us mentally and physically. And also, it's not just the micro and macro aggressions that we see on the red carpet. We have to recognize that it affects us every day. This leads to HR visits. This leads to black women justifying why they're not smiling enough or talking enough. It leads to lost jobs. It leads to people saying we have an attitude. It leads to, just now I had a potential client question me that if my presentation to a professional organization was going to have cursing in it. It leads to being stopped by the police. It leads to being followed in stores. It leads to daily misconceptions and biases and the actions that come from that burden us in real ways. So it's a real issue. And it's a reason why we need diversity everywhere, including the red carpet. So you have people who can interview celebrities without their biases and perceptions, because I never would have seen Megan the same way. But I'm going to end where I started. The most dangerous person, the scariest person, is a black person in some white people's imaginations, which makes life for us dangerous and absolutely stressful.